The Korean War was an important development in the Cold War because it was the first time that two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, have fought a proxy war in a third country. The war was disastrous for all of Korea, destroying most of its industry. One of the significant results of the Korean War was that it gave the U.S. reason to increase its military expenditure fourfold. The Korean War boosted GDP growth through government spending, which in turn constrained investment and consumption. The conflict in Korea had its beginnings in 1945 at the end of World War II, because Japan had occupied the Korean peninsula in the years before and during World War II. Both the Soviet Union and the United States worked to liberate the region from the Japanese. The United States Army and United Nations forces were led by General Douglas MacArthur. The U.S. president at the start of the war was Harry Truman. Dwight D. Eisenhower was president by the end of the war. United Nations Security Council Resolutions 83 and 84 provided the international legal authority for member states to restore peace on the Korean Peninsula, and they designated the United States as the leader of the Unified Command we know as the UN Command. The economy collapsed when the stability conditions required for a successful command system that had been present in the Soviet Union for 70 years ceased to hold. These conditions can be defined by the equilibrium of a game of strategy played by a dictator and a producer. Douglas C. MacArthur, general who commanded the Allies in the Southwest Pacific during World War II, he oversaw the post-war occupation of Japan and commanded the U.S. forces during the first phases of the Korean War. It was MacArthur who engineered the amphibious assault on Incheon. Becoming increasingly egotistical as he got older, MacArthur began countermanding Truman's orders in Korea. With the backing of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Truman relieved MacArthur of his command on April 11, 1951. Matthew Ridgway, commander of the 8th Army under MacArthur, Ridgway railed the U.S. forces and pushed the communists back. Ridgway became Allied commander of the Far East after MacArthur's dismissal. James Van Fleet, Army commander during World War II, led the D-Day invasion of Utah Beach in Korea. He served as Ridgway's field commander controlling the 8th Army. Dean Rusk, John F. Kennedy and Lyndon B. Johnson's Secretary of State after World War II, it was Rusk, a former Rhodey scholar, who chose the 38th parallel as the dividing line between North and South Korea. Walton Walker, Lieutenant General who had served under Patton in World War II. Walker was commander of all UN ground forces under MacArthur. In December 1950, Walker was killed in a car accident and Ridgway took his place. The Korean War started several years after World War II had ended, and no recognition of the threat or preparation was made for its possibility. The military and its medical service had been downsized after World War II and had to quickly ramp up to meet the surprise attack. The war provided the laboratory for trials and experimentation with the new technological developments of the era. The Korean conflict led to numerous advances in medical systems and patient care. The Mobile Army Surgical Hospital came of age and was instrumental in saving many lives. Helicopters saw their first regular use of flying ambulances to take the injured to definitive care in a timely fashion. The National Blood Banking Program was rapidly geared up, and new techniques such as plastic bags for collection and delivery resulted. Body armor was developed that would allow mobility while offering protection and was widely used for the first time. Each of these systems improvements saved the lives of soldiers in combat and were soon to be used in civilian sector to save and improve lives around the world. Communist states had hand grenades and rifle grenades, rocket launchers, recoilless rifles, and flamethrowers. The latest weapons technology was deployed during the struggle, such as jet fighters. The U.S. threatened to use the atomic bomb against communist forces.